Hello students, today we will continue with our second part of the chapter Rights from our 11th class political science textbook, Political Theory. In the previous video, I had told you what are rights, what is the difference between rights and claims. We had also spoken about different types of rights, kinds of rights that we have, economic, political, cultural, education. These rights are given to us by the Constitution, and they make the basis for all our other rights. And we had also spoken about natural rights and how nature and God have also given us three specific rights, that is right to live, right to life, right to property. So these are the kinds of rights that we had spoken about in the previous video. Today, we are going to study about human rights. What is the importance of human rights? What is human dignity? Immanuel Kant has given a theory on it. And he says, every man is to be respected as an absolute end in himself. And it is a crime against the dignity that belongs to him as a human being to use him as a mere means for some external purpose. इंसान के पास सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट है, उसके पास डिग्निटी है, और कोई भी उसको किसी पर्पस के लिए नहीं इस्तेमाल कर सकता, किसी उसको इस्तेमाल करने की चीज नहीं है इंसान. That is what Immanuel Kant said. He was of the view that you have to act in such a way that you treat humanity either in yourself or in others, always as an end in itself and never as a means to an end. Means to an end मतलब आप इंसान को इस्तेमाल करके अपना काम पूरा करने के लिए इस्तेमाल नहीं कर सकते. वो इंसान के पास डिग्निटी है. Every man has self-respect, and we have to respect that self-respect of every person. This version emphasizes the intrinsic value of human persons. Strictly speaking, autonomous rational agents are priceless. That is, there is no consequence that can justify treating a human being as a means to an end. This Kantian moral principle highlights the intuitive rationale underlying the moral wrongness of killing innocents, slavery, and assigning a dollar value to human life. आप like पुराने जमाने में लोग खरीद लेते थे, slavery था, ठीक है? तो ये उस slavery को ध्यान में रखते हुए बोला है इमैनुअल कैंट ने, that you cannot treat a man like slave. You cannot pay for a person. You can pay for his services, but you're not paying for the person. So you have to treat that person with respect. He says that human beings are valuable in themselves. He meant that every person has dignity and ought to be treated in that same manner. For Kant, to treat people with dignity was to treat them morally. He represented what is called as moral conception of rights. Whenever we are using our rights, मैंने आपको fundamental rights के chapter में भी बताया है that whenever we are using our rights, we have to remember that the other person also has some rights, and we need to respect those rights as well. And that is what Kant also said when he spoke about moral conception of rights. And this is the same concept which is followed by human rights also. Human rights for all talks about freedom, justice, love, rule of law, peace, prosperity, dignity, equality, everything, every emotion, every value, anything that you see around you comes under human rights. There are those rights, like you can read here, which all human beings are entitled by virtue of being human. Just because you're human, you have some rights, like right to breathe, right to live. You cannot just kill somebody. That person has the right to live. And right of respect, principle of respect for the individual is very important. In the recent times, the term human rights are being used more than the term natural rights. Human rights have become more important. We did this in the previous video as well. Why is this happening? This is because the idea of there being a natural law appears unacceptable today. Rights are increasingly seen as guarantee that human beings themselves seek or arrive at in order to lead a minimal good life. The conception of free and equal self is increasingly being used to challenge existing equalities based on race, caste, religion, and gender. Okay? So human rights have become both universal and fundamental, and they are to be given to anybody and everybody. Once they are given, they cannot be taken back. The presence of human right can be traced to the ancient Indian philosophy and culture. The concept formally originated at the international level in 1948 with the UN Declaration of Human Rights, UNDHR. It listed 30 rights for all people across the globe. So the UN also recognized the need for proper human rights. This UNDHR is a declaration adopted by United Nations General Assembly on 10 December 1948 at Palais de Charlotte in Paris. The declaration arose directly from the experience of the Second World War and represents the first global expression of rights to which all human beings are inherently entitled. The notion of universal human rights has been used by oppressed people all over the world to challenge laws which segregate them and deny them equal opportunities and rights. So anywhere and everywhere, wherever people feel that their rights are not being given to them, then they can challenge it under human rights. There is a long list of human rights, like it was said that there are 30 rights which have been mentioned. You can see these two posters. Both these posters are talking about human rights. It says, we are all born free and equal. Everyone is entitled to these rights, no matter your race, religion, or nationality. Everyone has the right to life, freedom, and safety. You have the responsibility to respect the right of others. No one can take away any of your rights. This has to be remembered very, very particularly. So there is right to equality, freedom from discrimination. You cannot discriminate on any basis. Life, liberty, and security. Everybody has the right to security. Freedom from slavery. Slavery is banned. You cannot keep anybody in bonding and make him work for you without paying him. Freedom from torture. Recognition as person before law, equality before law, remedy by tribunal. So there's so many fair public hearing, your nationality, freedom of belief, religion you can follow, freedom of opinion, social security, freedom of assembly, rest and leisure, social order, mutual responsibility. And in India, in many such rights, fundamental rights that we have, they are similar to the human rights that are given over here, right? Freedom of assembly, right? Freedom of belief, that is religion. Okay, so we have all these their work, we have these education, we have such rights even in our fundamental rights. So India has already given it to us as fundamental rights, which nobody can take away from us, and then human rights, which again nobody can take away from us. So these rights become very, very important. So we are very conscious of the need to protect the environment, and this has generated demands for rights to clean air, water, sustainable development, and the like. And so these things have also been added in the human rights. In India, we have the Human Rights Commission. The motto of the Human Rights Commission is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. That means may all be happy. It was formed on 12th October 1993, and its headquarters are at the Sardar Patel Bhavan in New Delhi. The present chairperson of this National Human Rights Commission is Sri Arun Kumar Mishra. So every country has its own NHRC, that is National Human Rights Commission, which the responsibility of this commission is to protect and promote human rights. It is defined by acts as rights relating to life, liberty, equality, and dignity of the individual guaranteed by the Constitution or embodied in the international covenants and enforceable by courts in India. So that is what is the main purpose of NHRC. So that was about the chapter rights, which is a part of your political science textbook, political theory. And it is also a part of your examination this term. Hope you've understood the chapter. If you have any doubts, see the video again. Thank you.